call me Mystic Mike because I predict these things.
Kyler Phillips takes on Vinicius Oliveira this Saturday at UFC 318. And this is a very evenly matched fight. I think both of these guys have a lot of potential. These guys are both very good prospects in the bantamweight division. Both relatively young, 29, 30 years old, so still in the middle of their prime. So I'm curious to see how this one plays out between these two, prospects with a lot of potential. But Vinicius Oliveira, he's 29, 5'9", with a 70.5-inch reach, and he's 22-3 in his career. Kyler Phillips is a year older. He's 30, 5'8", with a 72-inch reach, so he'll be an inch shorter with a inch and a half reach advantage. But Oliveira, he's huge for the weight class, very explosive, has really good low kicks, kind of stabs to the body with his kicks as well. Really good forward pressure. He's only a jiu-jitsu blue belt from what I heard, which is just crazy. The fact that you're in the UFC, you're kind of a highly touted prospect. You're 22-3 and you're only a blue belt, which is kind of unheard of. But he showed improved takedown defense in his last fight against Said Nurmagomedov. But again, Said isn't the best wrestler. He has 76% takedown defense, but he was getting taken down by Bernardo Sopaj in their fight, and Sopaj took that fight on short notice. He was even getting takedowns of his own against Said Nurmagomedov and staying safe from the subs. He can be KO'd. He's been chinned about 2 or 3 times in his career, but a lot of pressure, a lot of finishing potential on the feet from Vinicius Oliveira. Can be kind of sloppy and open to counters at times though. But Kyler Phillips, he was on a run in the UFC, having a lot of success before he ran into Rob Font in his most recent fight. But he had an early takedown against Rob Font to win that first round. Has 51% takedown accuracy, and he's a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu brown belt, I believe. So very good grappler. California state judo champion, California, I think, wrestling champion at 138 pounds as well, but likes to do a lot of his work on the feet with his kicks and kind of utilizing his range and distance management. Really fast punches, great jab, 1-2s that he uses to kind of set up his kicks and his knees. Like I said, great kicks, spinning kicks, really good movement, footwork, in and out, cutting angles, just really good striking flow. If you give him the distance and you don't pressure him and you allow him to work. But I went back and forth on this one, but I'm gonna go. Kyler Phillips, he kind of got fraud checked in his last fight against Rob Font, but Rob Font's very good, and I kind of feel like he lost a little bit of stock. But Rob Font, he beat Kyler Phillips, and then he beats John Matsumoto, another guy who's really good, and he beat him. So there's no real shame in that loss to Rob Font, who's fought a lot of really good guys, has a lot of really good wins, only really losing to the best of the best in the division. So I'm gonna go with Kyler Phillips to get this one done. I think he's gonna have learned a lot in that last fight with Rob Font, where he was getting kind of out pressured, outgassed, and Font was just really getting in his face, not really letting him start to get his offense and his kicks going. I think that Oliveira is going to be susceptible to his leg kicks. He was susceptible to the calf kicks by Said Nurmagomedov in that fight, and he kind of has his chin in the air and his hands down at times. Gets wild and crazy. He leaves openings for takedowns, leaves openings for counters, throws big hooks, big combos, and it tends to tire him out at times. He gets tired with his style and his big attacks and his pressure. I just think Kyler Phillips, he's going to be moving on the outside, eating up his legs, and I don't think Vinicius Oliveira will have the cardio to be able to push the pace that Rob Font did to really kind of wear and tax Kyler Phillips. I think that Phillips will be putting more volume out there, mixing it up well, mixing in takedowns as well. Again, very good grappler, but very good footwork, and he's quick, he's explosive. He can kind of disguise his takedowns with his kicks and vice versa, and I just don't think Oliveira will have the wrestling. He won't be able to use his wrestling the way he did in his last fight against Said Nurmagomedov, who is a Dagestani, but he's not known for his wrestling. Not known for his defensive or offensive wrestling. He's more of a kickboxer, utilizing his kicks and things like that. So I'm going to go with Kyler Phillips. I think that he'll be able to work his game against somebody like Vinicius Oliveira, who's going to be looking at times to throw big bombs and explode. But I don't think he's going to have the gas tank to be able to have that constant forward pressure to kind of suffocate Kyler Phillips and not allow his style to get going. I think that Phillips will be, chewing him up at the legs. I think he'll be able to get takedowns against somebody like Vinicius Oliveira as well. Again, I think I don't think he has the best wrestling or the best takedown defense when he was getting taken down by the smaller guy in Bernardo Sopage. I'm looking for his takedown defense right now. 76%, which isn't terrible, but Kyler Phillips, I think he's underrated in terms of his wrestling ability. And even if he can't get his wrestling going, I think just the threat will open up a lot on the feet for him. And I think if he does get him to the ground, Kyler Phillips is a Gracie brown belt versus a jiu-jitsu blue belt. And so I think that if he does get him to the ground, there's a lot of finishing potential there. But more than likely, I think that he'll just be a little bit more well-rounded, moving very well, landing his kicks at range, landing his strikes at range. There was times in his fight with Pedro Munoz where he was just in a flow state, just, kind of stunting on him. And you're able to do that against somebody like Pedro Munoz, who, has got cardio for days, is very good, hard to finish. I think you can do that against somebody like Vinicius Oliveira, who, again, very good record, 22-3. But you look through some of his wins on the regional scene, some of these guys are, they're not bad, honestly. 13-3, 11-2, 12-2s, but then you've got 7-3s, 5-8s, 0-3s, 4-3s back in the day. So I do think Vinicius Oliveira is very good. I just think that there's holes in his game that somebody like Kyler Phillips can take advantage of. I haven't looked at the odds yet. Kyler Phillips is the underdog. He's a plus 155 underdog. Vinicius Oliveira is minus 180, which I get it. Vinicius Oliveira, I picked against him in the Said Nurmagomedov fight. He was an underdog in that one, got the win. He was an underdog against Ricky Simone. So I can see where the odds are coming from. I think some of the hype is kind of fallen off of Kyler Phillips, just given his last performance against Rob Font, where he was a minus 450 favorite. But I do think he has the skills and will be able to come in with the strategy and game plan to beat somebody like Vinicius Oliveira. So I'm going to go with Kyler Phillips. I think he gets this one done by decision. Thanks.